on the 15th. I will write the check and I will send it in. One, because I do believe that they would probably do harm to my family if I didn't. And I also I feel a duty to pay for our military and some of the things. Now, at the same time, I probably share a lot of the frustrations of your libertarian followers that when I see the fraud in Minnesota, when I see what you're right about with the military not able to pass audits, when I see the way in California in particular, every government system is bilked. I want to make that better, but I've chosen to try to make that better by improving those government systems, not by just starving the beast. You seem to want to starve the beast. What's next in your plan?
Well, you know, when Marjorie Taylor Greene in December 30th said that voting is not working, it's a uniparty.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for over 30 years. We need to defund them like the founding fathers refused to pay 3% T-tax that they legally owed to the king. But what did the colonists do? They said, we're going to keep that money and send it to George Washington and Company. And because they did that, we have this great republic, America, the greatest place on earth ever existed is right here. So now we have to follow the founding fathers' example. Don't risk your life or property or sacred honor or everything. No. All you got to do is stop paying your enemies, the beast who have taken over, and elect Matt. When you didn't run again, I was disappointed because I want to support you. We could use super PAC called Restore Freedom. We're going to make Matt not just millions, tens, hundreds of millions, and billions to elect people like, you know, Thomas Massey, you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, to go actually win and take back our government from these people who are whores of the Epstein billionaire gang. That's my goal, is to take America back. And I think it's achievable.
Certainly, with any organization, impacting the funding for that organization gets a lot of attention, and it gets a lot of focus. And I don't know if that's the way to win the country back. I certainly have my doubts. The people who do this, is this all online? Do you ever get together with others who follow these methods, or is it something where people find you on the internet and proceed?
It's all online. StopTheFed.com and take the 7 steps to free yourself. But I tell you, step 2 and 3 are the most important, because people got to recognize that 1040 form is a confession form. So when I invite you,
you're right.
Matt,
well, that's the thing that doesn't sound weird about this. You are correct that the attestations that a taxpayer makes on that form are oftentimes hooks into you regarding the legitimacy and the background and the documentation for everything in there. And so I have heard people say, because of their unique circumstances, they would rather have the misdemeanor than have a potential felony if they get something wrong, and they work through getting that right. But that is different than what you are saying.
No, what I'm saying is that what you ought to do, Matt, is file for an extension before April 15th and investigate and verify everything I'm saying. Once you've signed a 1040 form, I cannot get you out of that confession. You put the rope around your neck and give it to the IRS. And people have called me before. Peymon, I just heard you, and I filed my tax return yesterday. Can you get me out of it? And I say, sorry, I can't do that. It's irreversible. When under penalty of perjury, you swear you owe the IRS money, you expect the IRS to let you have all expense and deductions.
What does America look like in 5 years if this is adopted at scale, in your view? Give me a vision for Peymon's America after voluntary taxpayers stop paying.
America will be a country where we have a large middle class, where people can afford to have a decent life, where they can take care of their family, where they got some savings, okay, where they can have homes, okay, where they can eat better food because they can afford to eat better food. The way they want their life, they have that freedom. And we will not be all over the world being policemen in the world, wasting money and lives of our soldiers in all these wars. You know, we're focused on America, and America is going to be really a beacon of hope, an example for the world to follow once again.
Peymon, I did not expect this conversation to go this way. I sort of wondered whether or not there was any intellectual underpinning to this, or whether or not you were just an exquisite salesman. I think your legal theories are novel, but it's very clear you've thought about them for a long time, and it's very clear you have an ideology, and you have looked at this. I'm shocked that they haven't tried to throw you in jail yet. They may, but you also don't strike me as someone who's very afraid of that. You have a certain come at me, bro energy about this, where a determination with precedential value could be your ultimate vindication if,
you know why?
if they were to do that.
Because in Iran, we could not criticize the king, Shah of Iran. You could be jailed, tortured, summary execution for criticizing a king. So America, with free speech, all these rights we have, like jury trial, I think, wow. In fact, the Constitution says our rights come from God, not from government. Whoa, that is huge. So I thought, well, Americans, I verified the law. Don't believe me, look at it, verify it for yourself. I did. And just open your mouth and think for yourself. That's all I invite people to do. Look, read, think for yourself. Do not believe me, the government, or anybody out there. And with that process, we can have America be a free country once again. That is why I'm not afraid, because you know what, Matt? I said to my friends back in 95, I said to my friends, Peymon, if you ever get big, they're going to come after you. They're going to shoot at you.
I'm shocked they haven't.
They shoot at you. You know what I told them? Let them do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? For over 30 years, I've been under criminal investigation. And guess what? They don't want to indict me for not filing and paying federal income taxes. They're looking for some little technicality on something I've done and get me on that, like they tried with Joe Bannister, the former gun-carrying IRS agent, when they put him on trial. They did not charge him.
I hope you're not a mobster. They had to get the mobsters for not paying taxes, and maybe they get the tax avoiders for being mobsters. Who knows? But you make a compelling point that if your conduct has remained the same for more than a decade, and if there's broad awareness of that conduct, you're not hiding. You're literally here on our program talking openly about it, which in a way validates your point that you're not afraid, because if you were, you would not be here. They haven't charged you.
In fact, we have petitions for free on our website at stopthefed.com.
Okay.
To send your congressman law spelled out, quoted, and attached. Say, look, show me where I'm wrong on this. And you know how many congressmen have shown us wrong? We've done them thousands of times. 0 times has one lawmaker shown us that we are wrong because we're right.
Well, this former lawmaker is not in a position to do that, but I am going to pay my taxes. Peymon, thank you so much for joining us. The Freedom Law School is the name of your organization. It's not an accredited law school, but you say that it's available for those who want to learn about your methods and follow.
They want to investigate for themselves to restore freedom, be free. Check it out for yourself. Read and think for yourself.
Peymon, thanks so much for joining me on Anchorman. I've truly enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you. Likewise.
And we'll be back next week. Thank you all so much.
Want to see more great videos?